If you've spent countless of hours reaching out to influencers, if you spent loads of hours trying to develop concepts or ideas or angles for ad creatives that you can push on the front end, what if I told you there was a way where you could take a single video, single concept, and you could expand and create 90 total variations from that single concept to produce a winning ad? What if I told you there was a methodology that will allow you to move each puzzle to now create the everlasting ad? What if I told you there was a way to automate this system so that you can constantly increase your chances of finding the winning creative for your brand, for your product, for your business? My name is Chris Hernandez. I'm the founder of ScaleVelocity.io. I manage a portfolio of direct-to-consumer brands under management where I'm working with founders closely to help them build a house for exits. Now, the common bottleneck I see across the board, brand to brand to brand, doesn't matter if a brand's doing 10K a month in revenue, doesn't matter if a brand's doing $1 million a month in revenue. The same bottleneck is apparent across the ecosystem of internal operations. And it's not by coincidence, simply because majority of these brands outsource to agencies for marketing needs, for creatives, for content, even for organic, and even email retention strategies. When a brand is heavily focused on outsourcing a ton of skill sets that should be brought internally, now you're relying on agencies for growth, you're relying on agencies to produce content for you, and you have no control of the quality of the work the agency is gonna do. When you work with the agency, if you're not one of their highest paying customers or they're one of their highest paying clients, well then ultimately you're pretty much at the bottom of the barrel, and you have some junior media buyer or some junior executive managing your account, which to go from 30K a month in revenue to 50K a month in revenue to $1 million a month in revenue, you need to change a whole lot of infrastructure, right? And that junior executive doesn't have the experience to get you to that point of where you want to see success. So with that being said, I'm going to walk you through the exact method that you can utilize to not only automate your creative production, but this will allow you to now produce multiple variations of said ad concepts or ad angles so that you can now create the everlasting winning ad without a bunch of guesswork. Every ad you create is getting you closer to your goal of finding that winning creative. Let's dive in. Everything that requires production, everything that requires research. The point of success or the point of getting exactly what we want in terms of angles or winning concepts comes from the beginning phases of doing a ton of market research, conducting what some of our competitors' angles, what are they running, right? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're trying to see what is already working for other competitors and see, okay, can we create a variation for our own brand so that we're not firing from scratch? But everything when it comes to concepts, when it comes to variations, when it comes to getting the final product of UGC or user-generated content, it all comes with the production starts with the beginning phase of planning, market research, variation, script writing, being very delicate, being very detail oriented of, okay, this is the video concept we're going after. Here's the angles we want to use to copy, the keywords, the context, so that it's very similar to somebody that scrolls across an ad platform, or let's say they scroll across TikTok or they scroll across Meta. And we want to make sure that our creative feels congruent and doesn't feel like an ad. We want to tell a story. We want to make sure that we're not only educating the prospect of what our product is and what the pain point it solves, but ultimately how they can utilize it in their life. And if they have a certain pain point, the effectiveness of the solution that the product is providing. So now, this is the brief template that we utilize across the board. This is just outlining general guidelines, and ultimately we break it down to 3 steps. We have lines, action, and the ultimate storyboard. But here we have a video brief, key talking points of, okay, this is what the brand's gonna do. This is what, as you as a content creator are gonna talk about, right? And we just are very detailed in the very beginning phases. We outline that the video is gonna be 21 to 34 seconds. Cut links are gonna be 3 to 4 seconds. And then if there's questions, we have the specific frameworks on understanding, right? Because the last thing we want is somebody to sound robotic. We have video tonality. We have people to speak with upbeat tone or project their voice with excitement. We have lighting guidelines outlined. And then ultimately the main focus, as I covered before, is we don't want somebody that sounds robotic. But here's a video brief, key talking points. And then from there, each line, we go line by line by line that the content creator is going to say itself. And then as a byproduct, we have the action, whether that's incorporating other individuals in the shot, or it's just the content creator doing a specific set of B-roll. Let's say they're trying to display the product. If it's like a bath bomb or like a shower steamer, we're going to utilize that specific B-roll footage to display the actual product in action. And then from there, we have the actual storyboard. So we're pulling references from different videos, from different ads. And then from there, we might take a specific part of the video and clip that and say, okay, look, here's the image that we want to resemble. or we want to replicate. And then from there, you have an example kind of replicating the exact point. Because the last thing you want from a content creator is, okay, you're giving them an area to kind of play in, right? You're giving them a specific part of the creative process. And now, if you just give them a bunch of lines to say, but you don't mention the storyboard, or you don't mention the actual B-roll footage of what they need to shoot, well, then as a byproduct, you don't have any true clarity of what the actual production is going to look like. So for us, when it comes to content, we're very specific, right? Because the last thing we want is content creators to have too much freedom where it kind of goes off topic. It's not a viable piece of content that we can run as an ad, right? And we don't want to waste money getting content that we don't want to run as an ad, right? We want to make sure we're like a sniper when it comes to creative production. It's very hyper focused, very tested, and we have angles organized by step by step by step. So from there, when it comes to lines, when it comes to storyboard, this makes the creator's life easier, so that when they see the brief, they know, okay, I'm going to shoot 5 scenes or 6 B-roll segments. Here are my lines. This is what the actual shot's going to look like. And it's easier for them to replicate when you give them everything outlined to a T. Because it's just, essentially, you're just using a paid actor to just give you what you want. When you have so much detail here, ultimately 9 times out of 10, the output from the content creator is going to replicate what you want, just because you've been super hyper focused. And now the great thing is, right, when you have a ton of B-roll segments like this, you can have the content creator shoot 2 different styles of hooks. You can have the content creator shoot 5 different B-roll segments, and then you might have 2 different variations of call to actions. So you have in total around 8 to 10 clips that has 2 hooks, 2 call to actions, and you have different B-roll segments in the body. Now that whole entire clips could be a total of a 1-minute video. Now you can go a step further. You can create a 45-second video. You can create a 30-second video. You can reduce the time length. As a byproduct as well, you can now play around with the video with different hook variations. Now you're creating a single concept with 12 testable ads to run through. And you have a lot of variations to pump. And as you catch something, or when you see something that has potential results, you can look at the B-roll segments leading up to it and now rearrange to create a new winning ad. So this is a byproduct of the reason why we're so in depth in the creative briefing process. Is when you follow this framework, this gives you the exact method so that you can now pump up multiple variations at scale, and you can automate your whole entire creative process with this organization from the very beginning of the creative brief writing process, right? Because the reason why you can't create variations isn't that you lack the ideas or you lack the angles. It's simply that you lack the infrastructure to produce it, right? So when you follow this structure right here, when you're outlining the creative briefs to a very detailed point, well, then you're going to see success at scale. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, you can check out this doc. I'll drop it down below where you can just check it out and replicate for your own business. And if you're interested or you want direct help from me or my team, and you want to build a house and you do want to exit in the next 2 to 3 years, feel free to book in a call down below where you can speak with me directly, and I'll see if you're a good fit. And if you are a good fit with your business in terms of unit economics, then I'll walk you through this exact protocol right here that I've built out that outlines the whole entire steps A to Z of, okay, how do we get to a point of exit potential with a high enough multiple? And you can check out my 34-page protocol that I built out that breaks down all of this and very, very much in depth. And then if you're ready to take the next step, book in a call with me down below. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.